In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own LUT from the look that you've created or you've generated with your adjustments in the Lumetri color of Premiere Pro. Whatever that you've done that you want to put across all other footages in the future, I'm going to show you how you can create a LUT out of it and save it and use it in the future. So without much ado, let's get right into the video. This is just a simple sequence. I shot this sequence for a music video. Shot this on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K. All right. And this is how actually the shots came through, and this is a look that I created myself that I have available here on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked it out, please do check it out. I'm gonna link it up there, and I'm also gonna link it down in the description below. It's called African Tone LUTs, so check it out and I'm sure that you're gonna love it. Okay, so that's exactly the same LUTs that I used for this sequence. Actually, I use one LUT, and you know that LUTs don't just work immediately when you apply them. You have to sometimes do some tweaks in just extremely few situations where you may have a LUT applied on your shot and it looks just good, but in most cases, most often than not, you're gonna have to do some tweaks. Right, so the same thing applied to the LUTs that I created for myself, and I'm gonna take you through how I apply LUTs and augment them, make them work, of course, on my shots. I actually have a video on how to make all LUTs appear right on your shots. So if you haven't checked that out as well, please do so, because it's actually dedicated to that particular topic. So do well to check it out and understand it thoroughly. So I'm going to go through that quickly on this shot and get right onto creating the LUTs, which is the subject for today's video. I'm going to apply the LUTs. I'm going to first of all click on the color tab, go all the way down to creative, browse, then I navigate through my documents to find where I have my LUTs stored. So if you download the LUTs through the link that I've provided down the description below, you're gonna get 3 of them, and they all have different looks, but we're gonna go with African Tone Forest LUT. Okay, and immediately I apply it on my footage. Okay, it looks fairly good, but it needs some work to be done to it, of course. All right, so what I'm gonna do first of all is to increase my exposure just a little bit. Okay, open up my shadows, reduce the highlights, maybe reduce the contrast in there, increase the white a little bit, bring back some shadows to create a little bit more contrast. Okay, I'm a sucker for contrast, so of course every time I need to pull a lot of contrast into my shots. Okay, but not so much. All right, so I think I like where we are now. Okay, so there's before and after, before and after. Okay, let us quickly copy the properties of the Lumetri color, which is the augmentation of my African Tone Forest LUT. I'm gonna apply it on the next shot, and it looks fairly good, but of course it needs some work. I'm gonna apply it on this as well, and I'm gonna apply it on that as well. Okay, so let's go through them and fix them. You understand that the lighting situations and the configurations are always different, and of course, because they are different shots, I shot them with different settings in the camera, so of course you're going to have different properties in there. So I see a lot of blues there in the shadows, so I'm going to of course tackle my white balance and push some warmth into it, not too much. I always need to match the shot, so you realize that this tone coming from the sun has a lot of warmth. All right, so that's what I'm going to use to gauge what I do over here. Okay, increase the white a little bit. Because I use a diffusion filter on my lens, it's creating some nice halation in there, and I just can't help it but increase the whites to and the highlights to enhance it some more. All right, maybe there's a little bit too much. I'm losing detail in the sky. Bring back the white a little bit. Okay, cool. I think I'm fine over here. Then I'm gonna move on to the next shot. and bring in some contrast. All right, still respecting consistency and continuity in everything, especially the exposure. So move from one shot to the next. Okay, I think you're fine. All right, and there's the last shot. Okay, this shot and that shot are actually the same, but I cut it into two because if I should take this off so you see exactly what happened, you notice there's a huge color shift. All right, so coming from this side, the sun was blazing towards the camera, but when she goes this way, the camera had to pan and follow her, and so she went into a different lighting configuration. And yeah, I quickly dodged that by placing another shot over here so I don't have to go through a lot of hell to fix the exposure and the color grading effect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, of course, it's too much blues in the shadows. I'm going to push in some warmth, just a little bit of it. Okay, increase my highlights, increase my shadows, the white in there. I think I'm losing some detail up there. Let me reduce just a little bit. Of course, contrast just a little bit. Pushing some blacks in there so the blacks get formed over there. All right. When I check this out, I think my contrast is a little bit too much. So let me open up the shadows, and I think I am pleased with where I am. There's consistency in the grade, and all these properties that I made changes to are gonna have to be saved apart from each other so that they become individual LUTs. Okay, so I think I am pleased with where we are now. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly just save this particular shot LUT. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna activate that shot that has the lumetri color properties, my African tone forest LUTs, and all the augmentations and the changes and enhancements that I did to the properties, all available. I'm gonna go up here to lumetri color, click on this, and move all the way to export cube. Right, so when it comes up here, all that you're gonna do is to find a location. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new folder and name it YouTube tutorial LUT creation. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna name it YouTube forest LUT. Okay, so hit save, and I can just find it right over here. So let's look for the folder that has the LUT in there. Okay, and yeah, I think I named it wrongly. Let me just insert the U. Okay, cool. All right, so this is my LUT, the LUT that I just created from the properties that I changed over here. So if you want to see how it works and how it applies, I'm going to pick another piece of this footage, okay, and drag it all the way here. Okay, activate the shot, go down to creative. Look, I don't use basic correction input LUT, even though I can still find my LUT over here and apply it, but because I need to have the intensity levels that I can always reduce and regulate, yeah, I'm gonna go with the creative tab over here. So I'm gonna find my LUT, and I remember I named it after YouTube. Yes, so YouTube tutorial LUT creation. Okay, and YouTube forest LUTs. Immediately I click it, of course you see the name over here changes into what I saved, and yeah, my LUT is applied. And that's exactly how you create a LUT, customize it, save it, and you can even share it to your friends to also have a feel of your LUT. So that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I'm gonna catch you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. See ya.